What's up guys, my name is Ace, and welcome back to another gun guide. This is the series where I go into great detail with all of the stats as well as some excellent attachment combinations for every gun in Modern Warfare 3. And in today's episode, which may actually be the final gun guide episode for Modern Warfare 3, we're going to be covering the DTIR 30-06. And starting it off as always, let's have a look at our damage profile, which interestingly for this battle rifle, the fire mode doesn't impact your damage. Typically with battle rifles, when you swap over to semi-auto mode, you're going to get bonus damage. That's not the case with this gun. So whether you're in full auto or semi-auto, this is going to be a 3 to 4 shot kill. And in the first 2 damage ranges, in order to maintain that 3-shot kill, 2 of those 3 shots have to hit either the torso or arms, which is generally pretty easy to do, just don't shoot them in the legs. And then when it comes to headshots, generally they're not really going to be helping you that much unless you're in the minimum damage range. At really long ranges, if you mix just one headshot in with those torso shots, you can maintain a 3-shot kill potential rather than dropping down to a 4-shot kill. As for our rate of fire, again, quite surprisingly, there is no change whether you're in full auto or semi-auto. Your rate of fire potential is the same at 472 rounds per minute. And what this means for our time to kill potential is with a 3-shot kill, we're killing in just 254 milliseconds, which is a very fast time to kill in this game. That is very competitive, especially with how consistent you're going to be getting that 3-shot kill. Now at a distance, or with a 4-shot kill, this does increase pretty drastically up to 381 milliseconds, so you really want to make sure you're killing them in those 3 shots. As for our range values, our 3-shot kill potential will extend out to about 42.5 meters, which is very impressive. Now keep in mind, with the advanced stats in-game, it mentions our minimum damage range is actually 51.3 meters. That's not actually what's taking place in-game based on my testing though. Our actual minimum damage range is about 42.5 meters. And then just a reminder, in those first 2 damage ranges, 2 of those 3 shots have to hit the torso or arms, whereas in that 3rd damage range, all 3 shots have to hit torso or arms, or head of course, if you want to maintain that 3-shot kill. Just 1 shot to the leg at that range will cause you to get a 4-shot kill. Also, when it comes to our bullet velocity, this is really good at 900 meters per second, so it's actually going to be hit scan in the majority of situations you should find yourself in 6v6. As for hardcore mode, it's pretty simple. This gun is a 1-shot kill at all ranges anywhere in the body, as long as you're not shooting through something. And now let's get into our hipfire stats. And our minimum hipfire spread is 2.3 degrees, which is very solid for a battle rifle. That's definitely better than average. However, our maximum hipfire spread when moving and shooting, this is going to be 9.1 degrees, which is actually a little bit worse than average for a battle rifle. Generally speaking, unless you're right up close and personal, with a gun like this, you want to maintain accuracy, so you don't really want to be hip firing if you can avoid it. But next up, let's get into our recoil, and this gun is very accurate. It kicks almost straight upwards with a tiny bit of a zigzag and then a bit of a lean to the right with the second half of your magazine. But you can see the bullet spacing's really nice. There aren't any crazy jumps or anything. It's super easy to manage and control, even with no attachments equipped. And once again, I just want to point out, with recoil, there is also no difference with semi-auto mode. It's exactly the same recoil, same rate of fire, same damage, and as a result, there is no real good reason to use semi-auto on this gun, in its current state at least. Perhaps this is something they're going to change down the road, but as of right now, semi-auto mode is basically exactly the same as full auto, but requires a whole lot more effort since you have to manually fire every shot. In either case, let's move into our handling stats, and our aim down sight time is very respectable for a battle rifle at 250 milliseconds, and it's a similar story with our sprint out time. It's not amazingly fast, but it's very good for a battle rifle at 210 milliseconds. And now let's have a look at our reload add time, which is honestly right around average for a battle rifle at 1.69 seconds, and keep in mind we do have a 20-round magazine with this gun as well. Now finally, for the base stats of this gun, let's get into our movement speed stats, and our base walking speed is 4.7 meters per second, which is a bit above average. Our sprint speed, on the other hand, is well above average. It's actually head and shoulders above all of the other battle rifles at 5.7 meters per second. That's actually as fast as many of the SMGs in this game, which is excellent. And then when it comes to our aim walking speed, this is just a little bit above average for battle rifles at 2.8 meters per second. And there we go, that wraps it up for all of the important stats with the DTIR 30-06. Now let's get into a couple excellent attachment combinations I've got for you guys, and I've only got 2 for you with this gun, just because there aren't too many really interesting ways to build this gun, in my opinion at least. That doesn't mean it's a bad gun by any means, it's just you can't do too many interesting things with it because it's just so good by default, and attachments don't make it that much better. So the first one I've got for you here is my accuracy build, and with this one, we're using the Quartermaster suppressor, the Fixer 1.4 long barrel, the SL Skeletal Vertical Underbarrel, the Mark III Reflector, and then finally the Marksman III stock. And with this particular build, you can see it is insanely accurate. I mean, this gun's accurate by default, but this makes it that much more accurate. That bullet spacing is so tight that you barely even have to compensate for recoil with this, and it's just pinpoint accurate even across long-range maps. And to top this off, I managed to keep the handling stats in check quite nicely. So our aim down sight speed is actually slightly better than the base at 247 milliseconds. Our sprint out time is a little on the slower side, but that's okay. This is the type of gun where you want to be keeping your distance anyway. And then of course, with that quartermaster suppressor, not only does it help a lot with recoil, it's also going to keep you off the radar. So that one is a really solid choice if you're playing on the longer range maps. Although since this gun is already so accurate, I do think it's overkill for most of the 6v6 maps in this game, and I'd rather focus a bit more on like the handling department while still maintaining really solid accuracy, even if I'm not quite as accurate as that previous build. So that's where the second build comes in. This is my more balanced build. And with this one, once again, we're using that Quartermaster Suppressor and the SL Skeletal Vertical Underbarrel. This time, we're using the Barter XS Short Barrel, as well as the Schlager Pecbox 4 Laser, which is not a visible laser. And then finally, we're going to top that off once again with the Marksman III stock. And you might notice with that, there is no optic on this one, and that's fine. I actually really like the iron sights on this. I think it's got an excellent iron sight for like close to mid ranges, and I really only like using an optic on like my accuracy build, where I'm planning on picking people off at really long distances. But we can also see with this one, while it's not quite as accurate as the previous build, this is still an insanely accurate gun. You'll still have no problem picking people off at really long ranges with this. Our aim down sight speed is very impressive as well at just 213 milliseconds, and our sprint out time is just 200 milliseconds, so you can actually be quite aggressive with this gun and get around the map as well. One downside with this is we are losing 10% to our damage range, but that's okay, because most of our gunfights should be falling within that 3-shot kill potential anyway with a gun like this. And if you do happen to challenge somebody at a distance, you're likely to still outgun them just due to the inherent accuracy of this gun. And again, we got that nice bonus of being off the radar since we're using the Quartermaster Suppressor here. So realistically, in 6v6, this is generally going to be my favorite build to use, and I'd really only pull out that accuracy build if I'm playing on a super long range map, or if I'm playing something like Ground War, for instance. And with that, this is where I would normally share a third build, something like a Hipfire and tac stance build, for instance, but honestly, with this gun, in my experience, you can't really make a great Hipfire and tac stance build, and I wouldn't really recommend hipfiring or being in tac stance. This gun's really about accuracy and precision, so we're actually just going to leave it here with the two setups, one for more close range versatility, and the other one for more long range accuracy. And with that, that's going to wrap it up for today's gun guide on the brand new DTIR 30-06. As for my thoughts on this gun, it's really, really good. Like, probably a little bit too good. I could definitely see them adjusting this at some point down the road. And I think if they are going to make an adjustment, the one thing I would say that would probably be appropriate for this gun is just reduce that bonus damage zone. Instead of covering the entire torso and arms, maybe just the upper torso and arms. I think that would be a lot more reasonable while still maintaining a lot of power, because as of right now, this gun is overpowering most of the guns in the game just because it kills extremely quickly, has a solid range, amazing bullet velocity, and it's insanely accurate with pretty decent handling. Like, there's not many downsides with this gun, and in some ways it kind of reminds me of the Bass B at launch, where that was really overpowering a lot of other guns in the game as well. On the other hand though, I will say it's kind of refreshing to have a battle rifle that's on top, or at least right up there with some of the better guns in the game. So it's not just another assault rifle or SMG that's currently, I would argue, possibly the best gun in the game right now. Now, of course, those are just my opinions, and this is where I want to hear from you guys in those comments down below. How are you guys feeling about this new battle rifle in Modern Warfare 3? Now, if you guys have missed any of the previous gun guides for Modern Warfare 3, I've now covered every gun in the game, and I believe this is all of the guns now. I will leave a link to the playlist in the description down below. If you enjoyed this one, a like rating is always appreciated, and don't forget to subscribe for more if you haven't already. I'll talk to you guys next time.